So the first one on the agenda is the new theme you want to add, Laurie?
No, I need to only convince one person because he can commit it.
Yeah.
So this is great. And in
I don't hear any convincing happening.
And you're staying with me in a hotel room, so you know.
Arm wrestle.
I'll bring earplugs.
So, Laurie, what is this about?
So I was working on issue that it was a dream markup issue about tabs, and I don't think we have covered all the different like PC possibilities and all the different ways we want to improve the markup by with the current themes we have. But apparently, what I understand is that Joel and Kotsur both agrees that it is not bad enough to have a duplicated templates inside Partition 7 and not have those templates copied over to any other team at any point. But that was the secondary concern that I had. The main concern that I had was about stable and Bartik and 7. And the problem is that so when someone rolls LTS and we remove the BC layers from Drupal core, we are not able to roll a new release with working themes because 7 and Bartik are going to break. And we have to fix them.
Isn't that first an issue if, well, to be frankly, my opinion on 7 and Bartik is there because we need to have quote-unquote something. If I had had my way on doing that discussion way back, we would have completely just ripped them out and added something in around 8.1, 8.2. That would have been built from the ground up, so we never had used time on that. I think they're necessary evil, but at the end of the day, it's more important to, whatever those two themes do is all about looks as you install and you use Drupal the first time. I think the most important thing is how we make the stable and classy. How do we make them better? And I would even go so far to say, how do we make core better? So at some point, that's where I think we should put in the majority of our work. As at the end of the day, stable and classy is just there to protect us from whatever we haven't fixed in core yet. That's at least on the philosophical thought.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. Like, I think we should almost, in a sense, we should almost forget about Bartik and 7, like set them aside and think about what we actually want to do with core and with stable and classy in terms of that type of discussion.
Yeah. And I think there will maybe be a good idea at some point. I mean, we joked about it when we got them in that they would be deprecated from release, and in a sense they are, because that's the only way we could move forward. We do need to patch them up as we go along, but as both 7 and Bartik are internal projects, we can do it.
I don't know if you understand the problem, but the problem is that if someone wants to remove the BC layers, we lose the only admin team we have for Drupal 8. We don't have any working admin team for Drupal 8.
Yeah.
So, and to be specific, are you talking about removing stable?
Yes.
Okay.
Stable or
classy. Which is only
classy?
going to happen when we branch 9.
I'm not sure if that is discussed because we have the discussion open about the LTS. I think so. I'm trying to find this.
I must have missed something. Why are we removing stable?
Yeah, I don't think stable will get removed in the LTS version.
After LTS version. Oh, so 9 will be, so there will be 8.x LTS, and then there will be 9.
Right, and we would remove stable in 9.
Yes, but with the current development workflow, we can afford breaking the teams and then fix them. If you want to do any improvements at that point.
Well, you can improve whatever you want in 7 and 8. Sorry, in 7 or Bartik. Whatever you want. But because they're internal, we have kind of more or less full reign on that.
Yeah. So
the only thing is that you don't have that thing that's tying them together, which I don't think that needs to. It's a nice thing to have, but I don't think it's really necessary to make it work.
Yeah. So I was working on the field status, field upload thing, and that was one of the moments when I realized how difficult it actually is to do something in 7 when you can't change whatever is inside the controller. So we cannot do all kinds of crazy improvements.
Well, yeah, because you have to use it has to be workable as well in
other admin teams and
so you have to put some of it back into something.
Yeah, I have to use the pre-process function to change things.
So, so is this? It sounds more actually like it's a political discussion. Is that completely wrong?
Like it's not. Well, it's a little bit of a just like he's getting caught up because he's inside of like trying to improve the uploader, like the drag and drop, making it to look like that little drag area where you can drag images onto the uploader.
Yeah.
He's trying to do that one, and right now because we have we have the uploader in core, and we need a place to change it. He's looking back at like, okay, well, if I make it in 7, I also have to make it in Bartik. And then I also also fix Classy if I want to make this improvement.
So now the change will be only in 7, and the change never gets moved to Classy or stable at any point.
Okay,
so there's no improvements for Classy, even though those changes affect Classy also.
But isn't that okay? Isn't that what we understood was going to happen when we started doing this? It's like you're making these corrections to core, and we're just not going to see them if you're using stable and Classy, because those are essentially frozen. Like that feature in the way that outputs.
So we can improve core, but we can improve the markup of Classy.
No, we can't do shit with Classy. Classy and stable are pretty much crap.
They're done.
They're done.
Yeah.
That's why we need to do we need to like work on that next version Classy and so forth, and that's the only way around it.
Yes. So my suggestion was there was 2 suggestions. One was to copy the templates to 7 and Bartik, which doesn't really help with the fact that the teams are going to break. And then there was the another suggestion, which was to add Classy unstable to Drupal 4. Which
if we had another thing like Classy unstable that we're moving from, you'll likely have like you'll also likely have like Classy 2 unstable, Classy 3 unstable as you make improvements to it.
The reason why Classy unstable would make sense because right now you can have unstable version of classes in Drupal core, but if you would have Classy unstable, it would mean you could get classes, but it would be unstable. So we would have all the 4 variations possible. Because now you can have stable and non-stable without classes, but you can only have stable with classes, which is Classy. But there is no unstable with classes.
So this is the help so that you can kind of move forward for like either you were thinking after LTS would be when we move like the stuff back into.
So this would allow us. This would help us with the move, because we wouldn't have to fix anything at that point. I mean, nothing will get broken after we remove stable, because we constantly keep updating 7 and Bartik for the updates we are making in Drupal core. And if we make any changes for the markup, like that is probably pretty unlikely. But if that happens, they would get moving to the classy and stable. And I think the markup changes would be more likely if we would have the classy and stable than what it is right now, because of the fact that the changes has to be made in Bartik and 7, both separately.
So can you maybe explain a bit more, because I'm not getting to how this changes this possibility of the removal of stable breaking things, because or I guess you're just breaking it sooner, aren't you? Because once you take stable out from underneath Bartik and 7, you're going to have to adjust some things, right?
Yeah, so I guess at this point there wouldn't be that many changes, so it would be easy to fix at this point. We can just read every commit that is changing some of the markup in Drupal core and fix it. But after, let's say, 3 or 4 years, it is going to be a lot more work to fix that. And then we would, when we change something, some markup in Drupal core or in stable, wherever we do it, we would have to adjust the themes to that so that they don't get broken in later when we are removing the DC layers.
So one nice thing is if you just do the changes in 7 and Bartik, like you just do them there, you're using them as that unstable land, and you can kind of backport kind of the markup that you've made improvements in 7 and Bartik back down to classy or back down to classy like eventually. So you could just use those as that point instead of having that new intermediate layer.
Yeah, we could do it definitely so that we would mark every template. That would be something that we want to move to classy in the future.
Yeah, like some kind of, that would be nice too, a little comment saying that.
Yeah, in the doc
These
block.
are some improvements and we're putting them here because we want to use them.
Yeah, that's what I actually suggested Emma to do right now in the patches that she's writing, so that we can see the amount of them.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea to have at least.
Yeah, so even though we don't have any decision, I suggested to have it in the patches, and then let's figure out what we are going to do.
Breadcrumbs of improvements.
Yeah. So that doesn't still fix the problem that if we change markup in Drupal core, that it will get broken, the theme. Unless we copy every template to 7 and Bartik. And then
no, because we're still basing everything off of stable. We're not changing stable. We're not changing classy.
Stable will be removed at some point, and then 7 and Bartik will break.
Well, isn't it?
But we already copied those templates to, well.
We could copy them to Bartik and 7 so that we have templates Bartik and 7.
Just copy them over. I mean, if it's just to make it work, we know when we come to Drupal 9, we're going to kill those themes anyways.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I
don't know about Bartik, but 7 seems like something that we are going to have for quite a while still.
And the reason I'm saying it is I think we really in this, I mean, let's get back to what I think was a mistake. We really need to focus on the main product, and that is core. So in my head, we're fixing stuff first where we're making it work with straight up Drupal core. No themes, no nothing, straight up out the box. No classes, only the most important things. and then to make the patch go in for an liver version, we then, if 7 and Bardic needs a little bit of love to make it work, we make it work there. And at the end of the day, it's stable. I mean, we can add stuff to stable. We just can't remove stuff to stable. Right? I mean, of course we can add in a new class into stable if it needs it, and add a class new into
No,
class.
we can't add a new class.
Oh,
we can add like pre-processed functions to maintain something.
If we add new functionality into Drupal 8, like say whatever, of course we can come new classes into it. It just needs to be.
Yeah, but we can't add new classes for existing functionality.
No.
We can add new elements, new components, but we can add new classes for already existing components because it will change the behavior of them. Even though we wouldn't include any CSS on them, someone might have that selector used.
Yeah, we even had to like change like the mark one that we just, I don't even know if it's in yet. The mark tag that was still a span tag with a class marker. We couldn't change the markup to mark on that one just because somebody might have selected things.
Yeah, that's like super sad issue because the change that we are doing doesn't really get done anywhere, and like if you would have the unstable classy, it would at least get to the classy and not classy to Bartik and 7.
Yeah.
Now we
and the only person that would get it would be the one that's like going directly to core, like somebody that would be actually going and setting base theme false would be able to get that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably someone who will get it from the core itself or copy it from there. But what I mean is that we don't get to use these improvements that we make for core or somewhere else in our own base
team. I know
teams.
that there's an improvement coming into core, and I'm upgrading to 8.5. And the README says, hey, by the way, we have made these awesome things change to make them work. What you need to do in your old site is this, this, and that.
No,
can't we
can't
fix
do that.
it that way?
It would be nice to do that, though.
A lot of the updates happen by people who are not necessarily themers and can actually fix whatever it is we tell them to fix.
Well, if it's copying 3 template files over.
Still. I mean, we've had that discussion with computers before.
If we're going down the old school Drupal rabbit hole of we're trying to fix everything from everybody.
But it's not just everybody. I mean, lots of the consumer base are people that will like click a button to try to do an update or like follow the instructions or whatever, and they're not going to dig into code. I mean, they would consider that a breaking change if somebody has to dig into code to support.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking in ways of can we get around it somehow.
I know I'm going to set my base theme on my new site to false.
That's the only the most. I'm just thinking in ways of.
But what exactly is the problem with just copying the templates to Bartik and 7 and?
I mean, because that's just gonna. I mean, it's gonna be a pain in the fucking ass, but I will almost promise Bartik will be fucking dead in the next major release. If we don't kill Bartik at that point, it's beginning to be absurd. 7 will be more of a. If we try to look forward, 7 will probably be more of a style guide. And 7 will probably be rebuilt on what core does directly out of the box instead of inheriting all kinds of stuff from old systems. Because else we're gonna have like really like frustrating legacy code that we will have to work around. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said at some point, okay, let's rebuild 7 on core, but rebuild it in a better quote-unquote way, where we don't have to like patch everything from the ground up because Drupal used to do it this way or that way. I think my point is let's try to make it work and make the product better instead of finding things that maybe can block us.
Yeah, I guess I kind of agree with that, and like I'm not sure what the fate of Bartik and 7 are, but if we're kind of worried about, let's say, the timing of stable being removed, like we can always postpone that if 7 and Bartik or whatever might replace them is not ready yet.
But then we never refresh the markup.
Well, that's kind of my point. So there's nothing.
I mean, the first thing we did when we branched 9 might be the first initiative is build a new default theme and admin theme.
Yeah, but we could start that earlier. I mean, that's my whole point, that it's not going to be a big bang release anymore. It's just going to be one release like any other, like 8.4 or 8.5, but it's going to be 8.1, 8.5, but without the BC layers. So we have to be able to develop all these things in the minor releases.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I don't know why you keep saying that. Stable would not get removed in the LTS.
It will be removed after the LTS.
It'll be removed in the branch of 9 when that's created.
Yeah, but that's
it won't get removed. If 8.6 is LTS, Stable's still going to be in 8.6.
Yeah, but last minor release of Drupal will be the LTS. Here's the release cycle.
So, but I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I kind of agree with what David's saying. Like, aren't we really talking about 9?
Yeah, but
we're talking about when 9 gets branched or whatever.
Yeah, but the plan right now is to have it more as a minor release, but without BC layers, than as something that Drupal 8 was.
No version of 8 that would remove stable.
What?
Oh, so you're talking about like the Symfony style of release, right, Laurie?
Yeah, and that's what we have pretty much agreed, that it's not going to be like 3-4 years or 2 years. It's going to be 1 year, and it's going to be more like just removing the BC layers and rolling a new release, like we do with the minor releases.
Right.
So it's going to be very different than what we've used to, and that's why I'm trying to make it possible to do all these incremental changes between the minor releases in Drupal 8, so that we could have as less work between the LTS and 9. I mean, it's completely unnecessary that we fix something that we broke just because of the matter of fact that we have to fix it. If we could have avoided that earlier. If we just cite. I mean, there is multiple different options. Adding a new theme is not the only option. We have the copying templates over and not removing stable at that point. But that means that we are stuck with the same markup for a very long time.
Yeah, okay, well, I think, yeah, that kind of last point, for me anyway, like, it's kind of, it shifts the way that we need to kind of think about this a lot. So I think we probably need to come back to this, like give everyone a chance to think about it some more.
Yeah. I mean,
does that sound good?
Yeah, and one more thought from me is that if we can fix this by any other way than either copying all the templates over to Classy and Bartik or adding a new theme, I would be very happy. But in my small head, I couldn't come over with any other plan right now. So.
Okay.
So sorry, I just got distracted by a 5-year-old who wants to figure out where I was at. So Larry, what is your suggestion, and what is it that you want?
No, it's not suggestion. It's suggestion to fix the problem somehow. Maybe try to investigate new proposed solutions, because like the both of the proposed solutions right now are more like nah, and they're not very nice fixes for that. They would fix the problem, but they are not very clean because we have already added quite a few teams to play. So if you can, so Kotzer suggested that we think about this for a while and try to figure out what everyone thinks and if there's any other solutions.
Would it be a goal to sit down and, I mean, would it be a good idea to sit down for like a day or half a day in Chicago and,
If we do so, it will be ensured that it's not going to be included in 8.1, but yeah, sure. Or we can do that in Mumbai.
But yeah. I think it's okay. Like, I don't think, in my mind anyway, I don't think we need to do anything by 8.1 for this. It's like we need to figure out how we can do this before 9.
Yes, but it gets more difficult all the time. But obviously, we can do it at any point and then fix them at that point. To fix the problem.
So my view in Chicago is like, this sounds a lot of like a policy issue in some ways. So sitting down in a room and be like, okay, let's close the door, let's find a whiteboard, and let's fix it. Would maybe be a good idea. Also, because then we can like fix stuff really, really fast.
Yeah, I think we need clarity on this release shift between the major versions, just so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page as to exactly how the core committers are expecting that to look, and probably particularly Catch. Just so that we're all clear, and then we can come up with a better idea. Because I think there's some of us are thinking certain things, and some of us are thinking other things.
Yeah, that's why sitting down in the room and just fixing it out. I mean, we fixed the whole classy issue in 2 hours by sitting in a room and just having a whiteboard and drawing on it and discussing what is it that we're expecting. And saying, well, on, I don't know when people are coming to Chicago, but on Thursday before the camp or the day after the camp or something like that, let's sit down and figure some of these things out and just make a plan for them. If we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it anyway. So. Sorry, I'm cooking in here, so jumping it back and forth a little bit. That also gives us about, as long as it says, well, the more we're waiting on this issue, the more technical depth we're basically building up, right?
Yeah.
So that gives us a very short month to think about it and read through the issue, and then see if we can find a solution on it that would make the most sense.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So when are people coming to Chicago?
I will be there on Saturday.
All right, so you're going to be in Chicago later?
No, it's before. I'm going to be, oh, do you mean, am I going to stay afterwards, or? I'm going to be there a week before on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be in Denver that week, so I was thinking just, if we set up a meeting thing, I don't know, people coming in, also just do a doodle about it, figure out when people are coming in, and then say, okay, let's take half a day off here to do a meeting on it. Do it away from everything, and if we have the apartment your other half, we can sit there and close the doors and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Because doing it at a camp can both be good and bad. The bad thing is that we can end up not getting anything done because there's 1,000 people around us who want to do all kinds of things. Which is also why you're at a camp. So that is at least my suggestion to how to like figure out a policy for it and move forward.
Yep, let's do so.
Cool. Let's move on to the next item on this fancy agenda. Scott is now a committer.
Congratulations. Yeah, I was very happy when I heard about that. I feel like Frontend is being appreciated.
Just yank in whatever kind of fucked up ideas we get.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So how does
Provisional,
it feel
so
to
we have
be-
to give them a couple months so that they don't kick them out right away.
So we give it like 3 or 4 months where they think Koto is responsible, like as human, and then we just fucking flood the gates.
He'll still block it.
And commit all
I'm
the
sure Alex Carter's gonna come hunt us all down. So I'm not sure I dare to do that tactic, but
Yeah, should be fun.
yeah.
It's great to have a great big culture now.
Yeah,
Isn't it the first time we have a dedicated front end?
yeah.
Yeah.
And are you only allowed to commit front end stuff, or is there like, or are you just kind of that's what you're going to be doing, or what's the?
It's
what's there?
somewhat to be determined, because like all the other committers, they have kind of one or more titles of like framework manager, release manager, product manager, and I don't really fit into any of those, so that's sort of TBD. But as well as sort of like what I do and don't commit, but in general, like we're just going to figure it out, and front end things that are pretty clear, like might just get assigned to me to look at, kind of thing.
Okay.
So.
And commit all of the docs patches too. Free reign.
I don't know, like I'll work with Jennifer or Chex or whoever is kind of in charge of that to figure out who does what.
Cool.
Probably if it's straight docs, then it would probably still be the docs maintainer, and then I can just help on the issues, but so that wouldn't really change. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, like provisional committer, I don't know. I'm just kind of, I wanted to be the first one, so.
Yeah, but it's great that you're doing it. I think you're the best fit for that. Hawkeyes.
Thank you. Yeah, Hawkeyes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I can still commit stuff, so I don't know. I'm working. I'll probably do my first commit today on the progress bar issue. So that it's a one-line CSS patch.
Do you feel confident of committing that?
Yeah. So, but it kind of brings up an interesting point because it took me a while to get everything set up, but you can, if you have a file field enabled to use the progress bar and you have like APC or PECL progress or whatever, you can see when you upload a file, you can see a little bar, and it's very ugly. It's like stark. It doesn't have any CSS on the, even if you're in like a 7-node form, and it's because that the markup that you would be expecting to be coming from like progressbar.html.twig with the classy progress library attached is actually coming from a JavaScript theme function which doesn't know anything about libraries. So it almost seems like we need to figure out a way to get at least some workaround, if not a way to allow JavaScript theme functions to attach libraries. So I'm gonna make.
Or you have to include it on every single page.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make an issue for that. I think in that case the workaround is probably just to, when you have a file managed field configured in a certain way to use, because it's part of the form configuration, whether you use this kind of little spinner thing or the progress bar. So I think we probably just need to do something where we check the configuration of that form widget and then include the library as needed. So, because I don't know if there's many other cases where we need to do something like that. But yeah, that's kind of it's kind of a related but separate issue because the CSS fix is really only for kind of like Stark. So it's just kind of a bug with how the progress Ajax kind of progress stuff is implemented.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So just something to kind of be aware of. That's the first time I've run into that personally, but it can happen. So what's the next one? Performance?
Yeah, I was sprinting on this on the weekend with the guys from the Vancouver Drupal group, and they a bunch of people tested the crap out of how it actually is so slow when you have any node or Bower components inside of your team. When you're on admin, this is just like clearing cache, and all of a sudden it goes from like 1 millisecond or 10 milliseconds to 100 or 200 or 500 in my case, just to clear cache, just because I have like one node. Pretty basic, and not even, well, it's actually from the theme basic when I was testing set of like node modules inside the folder, and so this is excluding it, and we've had this issue open for quite some time in different variations, and so there's just some like minor doc fixes I think to fix now.
Yeah, that's how it looked. I haven't like looked at the patch, but it's a pretty small patch anyway. But yeah,
and the main part of the patch for 8 is super simple. It's 2 lines.
Yeah.
But the other part, which I don't really care about because it's on its way out, that one's only more useful for your 7. So if you ever find it slow to clear cache and you have node modules, this is the patch for you guys.
Yeah, and there's also like, I think it was the browser sync node module or something like that it included a .info file, which was like something related to like test coverage or something.
Oh yeah, and that fails.
Yeah, well, it causes like, if you're using Apache, it causes like a seg fault because it does an infinite loop. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was seeing some of that. I hadn't seen it before because I haven't used that, but people that use basic theme at the sprint there, they were saying that it was definitely causing them issues and trying to figure out why it is. So that was their motivation for trying to fix that one. Mine was just because it was one of those performance ones, front-end performance.
So that's the kind of thing, like, because it's pretty theming related. Like I could probably commit that. I don't know if I actually will on that one. I probably would leave that to because I think like Catch has already been looking at it, but yeah.
Cool. If anybody has a spare few seconds to kind of review the latest nitpicky changes that we have to move that one back into RTBC, that would be awesome, because it's like at the brink of RTBC.
Yeah, if I have time, I'll kind of review the docs again, just to see if it makes sense now.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
And we have some asset stuff to look at that have been sitting in our queue for a while that I haven't looked at, but yeah, I just want to bring that up again. That we have to look at how assets are overridden and stuff like that, and there's at least 3 issues from Haas, I think, that are in our queue that we should kind of test and see how broken they are.
Well, yeah, one of them is like issues. Yeah, one of them is like we just need to have some sort of like namespace ability for overriding, because like right now to override some stuff from stable, you need to specify the full path, which is pretty hideous. So it'd be better if it was like @stable instead of core theme stable blah blah blah.
Yeah, that would be nice. And be consistent also, because I think you can add them like that in the theme, can't you? Maybe
well, not with @sign, but that seems to be the convention that we're using for that type of thing. So
yeah, borrowed from Symfony, I think so.
Yeah.
I would be
Cool.
definitely for that namespace.
Anything else for anyone?
Steve, you've been quiet. What's up?
Nope. I'm almost done with making dinner, so.
Oh, you're muted too. That's probably why.
Alright, who did this? I don't think we need 9 pages of party hats in the Google Doc.
You think so?
Yeah, Steve is on mute. I can't hear you at all.
I thought I heard something, but it was like delayed or weird in some
It
capacity.
was Morten.
Oh, that was Morton. Okay.
What did I do?
It was definitely weird,
Okay.
but that's Morten. Morten, have you learned how to commit things already?
Yeah, trolling on Twitter and coming in life.
According to Krill. The amount of fucking trolling on the interwebs.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can wrap this up.
Because now I have, as you can see here, I have multiple small ones.
Oh, nice.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. So I'm gonna run out now because now I have 2 little girls who wanna eat. And she got a made food for you.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, now they're punching my stomach because something. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't make it the next week. But yeah, so we'll talk to you soon, or we'll see you in Asia.
Person from India.
Which hotel are you staying in, Morten, in India?
Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.